Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Benjamin Gotch and welcome to my science playthrough of Kerbal Space Program. I've installed some mods for it to just increase the difficulty, primarily unmanned before manned, and the attack life support mod set, as well as a couple others like ScanSat, but I'll put a full mod list in the description below. I want to play this trying to be as conservative as possible. I guess even though we're not doing a career where this stuff is going to cost money, I don't want to go absolutely crazy and add just start with a bunch of crazy amount of solid rocket motors. So for this first flight and for this first vehicle, I designed a simple rocket using a single solid rocket motor and 4 fins, an antenna, and the thermometer experiment package. What I end up finding out is that I forgot to add some external batteries to the rocket, which causes some power issues in early flights of the vehicle. For this first flight, I tried to gather the scientific data from the launch pad, and come to find out I didn't have enough electric power, as I've stated. And once I ran out of power, I was unable to launch, so I just recovered the vessel and took it out for another flight, thinking that the solid rocket motor would generate power that I can use to transmit the science, but it didn't turn out very well, and I just lost the vehicle. So that was a failed flight. I did get up to almost 6 kilometers at apogee, and then it crashed not too far away from the runway. But back in the VAB, I decided to add some external batteries to it, so that way I could actually transmit the science that I get. And then I reattached the antenna so that way it was more centered, because my OCD just wouldn't let me keep it so lopsided like that. So I just used some of the design tools and centered it. I probably could have just hid it away, but I decided to just center it. And then from there we launched it and recorded we were finally able to get the data on the temperature in flight, which again was a good, which helped us progress a little faster. And I tried to get some more scientific data, but I forgot that you had to get like above 20 kilometers to get that data. So we ended up crashing back, and I went into the science building and looking through these parts. We have parts for liquid fuel, and I know I'm going to need that at some point. The barometric pressure, I know I'm going to need that at some point, as well as aircraft parts. And what I decided to go with on this one was to get the mainly to research for the barometric pressure sensor, so that way we can just gather some more science and get the rest of the parts. Strapping that onto the side of the sounding rocket, we moved on to begin launching again, getting it out to the launch pad. We first gathered the scientific data for the pressure on the launch pad, and were able to transmit that. And then we launched it, and it took off rather nicely, gathering that scientific data. And because I still don't have a way to recover any of these vessels, it crashed on the side of the runway, on the side of the launch pad. So, and yeah, it's hopefully, and with that we were able to get enough science from that to get a couple more parts from the science base. Specifically, we went for the liquid fuel tanks and radial decouplers. We don't end up using them right away, although I probably could have, but I felt like it would have been better to wait till I can get the liquid fuel rocket engine itself, so that way we can focus on that. So instead I decided to head to the spaceplane hangar and just try and gather a little bit more science around the Space Center by launching the sounding rocket off of the runway. At first I thought I'd try and build a new rocket, and then I figured, you know what, I'll just grab the sounding rocket from the VAB and launch it from the spaceplane, from the runway. This next flight is one of the more interesting flights that we had. It was this is the first rocket that we ended up recovering for our program, which was completely by accident, and I honestly don't know how it happened, because this went just about as high as all the other ones did, and they all disintegrated once they hit the ground. But for some reason, once this one landed on the side of the runway, I think the runway's concrete is a little softer, I guess, but it actually survived with a minimal amount of parts breaking. All we ended up losing, as you'll see, are some of the fins, the pressure sensor, and the antenna, which was a huge surprise, honestly. But as we'll see, once it hits the ground, we were able to use that to gather a little bit more science by grabbing the temperature experiment on the side of the runway. And that kind of just allowed us to finish off and get the rest of the first few branches in the science tree. So now that we have the rocket engine and some of the structural parts, as well as some aircraft parts that we can use to build small jets that our crew can fly, I decided to move on to the next program for in researching in extreme altitudes using the new liquid propulsion systems that we've developed. Once again, using the Stay Putnik module and a small solid rocket booster on the top, I decided that it would be best to try with 4 liquid powered rockets on the side. If we can get the boosters mounted properly, my thinking with this rocket was that we would use it to hopefully get the solid rocket booster to a safe enough altitude where it would just propel the payload up above 20,000 meters, and then we would gather the scientific data from there, and from that we would get the rest of the parts that we need to progress into suborbital and eventually orbital flight. I've decided to leave all of that for the next episode. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this, or let me know if there's anything I can do to improve the quality of my videos. I do apologize about the lack of audio on this one. I accidentally deleted the audio, and I really didn't feel like going back through and recutting everything. So I just decided to throw some music in the background and do a post voice recording. In the next video will have the original audio, my own voice recording, and some of the in-game voice audio, although it won't be quite as good. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a good time. Let me know if you want to see more.